Hello, everyone, and welcome. We are here, Heart Tree Institute, and Kathi and I are here to bring you to the September full moon energy and just share our reflections. And Kathy's going to pull some tarot for us as she always does. So this is going to be a really exciting time, and maybe not an exciting time because it might feel really intense, actually. But we have this incredible full moon on September 7th. Sunday, September 7th at 2:09 p.m. Eastern Standard. We have full moon in Virgo. No, full moon in Pisces. Sorry, but we're sitting with our sun in Virgo. So we have a lot of Virgo energy. We have a lot of Piscean energy. And it's also a full moon eclipse, which is going to be very um, special. We'll put it that way. It's going to be a lot of clearing. This is actually going to be a lot of clearing. We're doing a lot of clearing individually, collectively, planetary. We're clearing a lot of the past away as we're letting go of this planetary or cultural time karmic cycle and moving into the next one. And this is a really big moment to do that, where we have this Virgo energy and we have this Piscean energy. So this time of year, we have this corn moon. We have this beautiful harvest time of year. So we have corn and we have squash and we have pumpkins and we have all this fruition of all this labor, and we're taking in all of these fruits of our labor at this time, right? We're taking in the fruits of our labor, which is a beautiful thing to do. And as Kathi was just pointing out to me too, it's like we take the corn or we take the pumpkin, but we leave the vine. And the vine then has the opportunity or the ability, or really the, you know, determination to decompose. It absolutely just decomposes. It returns its nutrition to the soil. It turns into a compost that will then, feed future generations of seeds and future generations of harvest. So right now we're really taking the fruits of our labor, and that which we don't need is just kind of decomposing. It's just going back to the earth. It's going back to wherever it needs to go. And we're doing that on an energetic level. We're doing that for ourselves. We're doing that collectively. And we're also doing that planetarily. So this is a really big time of year where we're in that earth energy. We're in deep earth energy. We're in deep ability to ground energy. We're reaping the fruits of our labor. So this might be a time in your life too where you really reflect that, do I really need that extra class? Do I really need another certification? Do I really need to prove who I am and what I'm doing? You probably don't. It's probably a really good time to, harvest those fruits and just sit back and be like, oh, wow, I did this. I've accomplished this. I've figured this out. I don't need to go into like a frantic sense of, I've got to figure this out. I've got to fix it. I've got to know it. I've got to do it. I've got to, and that Virgo energy can do that. The Virgo might want you to become the fixer. So this is a time where it's like, do I need to fix this? Do I need to do this? Is that activity really satisfying me? Is that activity really nurturing me? Or is that activity just kind of a frenzied energy or a frenzied habit? So that's a really important delineation at this time. And then we have this beautiful Piscean energy. So this is that moment where, okay, so we've gone apple picking. Let's say we've gone apple picking because we live in the Northeast and we're going to think that way right now. So we've gone apple picking and maybe we're peeling those apples. And while we're doing this very, earthy, functional, wonderful task of harvest and doing, we might also be in a big imagination. We might get into that Piscean energy where we just start imagining something in our future. And imagination is incredibly powerful, right? Before you harvested those apples, we had to imagine planting a tree, and then we had to imagine how we were going to take care of it. And then we imagine and then we do, and we imagine and then we do. So you might be in a big imagination, but what this opportunity is to really go, oh, what am I imagining my future to be? What from my past am I taking into it? Because if you stop and realize that in your imagination, you just created an entire universe. You just created an entire world. You created a cast of characters. You put everybody in a setting. You gave everybody costumes. You gave yourself a role. You acted out an entire world, an entire show of your own creation, of your own writing in a split second. In a split second, you've made an entire world. And if you can stop and go, oh, I just brought that energy into my future, I just brought that energy into my imagination, then you can really be more conscious of what you're bringing into your future creations. And this is a really wonderful time because as we go into that eclipse, we're shedding light. We're shedding light and we're shedding light on what we're doing, and we're shedding light on what we're imagining. We're shedding light on that Virgo energy, and we're shedding light on that Piscean energy. So what we're doing is creating, and we're using our imagination as a vehicle of creation. But what we're doing will also in this physical reality will bring in a lot of energies of the past habits, the past thought waves, the past patterns of what we've been doing and thinking from our family, from the world, from ourselves. And we actually have this wonderful opportunity to let those things really decompose. We take that pumpkin off the vine, we take that corn off the stalk, and we select what is ours, what we've built, what we've grown, which is of value, which is of support, which is of nutrition, and we gather it and we let the rest just go back to the earth, and we let it go back into just decomposition, transmutation. That's really the right word. It's going to transmute for whatever future needs it has. And we're going to do that through this beautiful opportunity of recognizing what we're bringing from the past and building into the future, through this eclipse energy and through these really opposing kind of energies in some ways. You know, we have this practical, fixing kind of energy, doing kind of energy, and this dreamy kind of energy. It's kind of a yin yang kind of energy. And you want to be sitting right on that center line. If you can imagine that black and that white of that yin yang energy, we just want to sit right on that center line in that really, 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 really balanced place. And I also really want to encourage you, if you're sitting there and suddenly you create a future and a future that you didn't want to create, or there's aspects of it that you don't like that you're doing, don't judge. No judgment. No, oh, I did that. Okay, great. I'm just reflecting on what I need to let go of. I'm reflecting on the energies that are coming up for me right now, because you're going to have a lot of energies of the past coming up to be seen, to be dealt with in your face. They might get loud. It might be really banging on your door, your psychic door, like, listen to me, listen to me, listen to me. And, that's a great moment to celebrate what is actually being released, because they tend to get really loud before they release. So no judgment, because judgment is also going to be a pattern. And saying, oh no, I imagine that bad, 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 bad. No, 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 no. Just go, oh, this is what I'm realizing. This is what I'm realizing. And be really gentle and nice about it, right? Just gentle and nice about it. So that's all I'm going to say about that at this time. And I know Kathy's been tuning into the tarot deck, so I'm going to hand it over to her and her incredible tarot wisdom at this time.
Right. Well, we always find that tarot supports the vision. I pulled 3 cards, as I always do, and I'll show them all to you at once, because together they tell the story, versus looking at them individually. This young page of swords, the swords is the mind, and he's got red boots on. So he's anchored to the ground, but if you look closely, it must be a storm, because the trees are blowing, the birds are flying off, he's up in the clouds. So this is like, don't be up in the clouds. The page, he's young, he's naive, he has not mastered the mind. But all 3 of these cards tell me this is not the time to act. These are cards of constriction, all 3. This means it is not the time to act. This is the time to be. This is the time to just be.
Yeah.
They have great ideas that are like in the clouds, but let them fly off like these birds. If you can see the birds up there, let them move through you. Don't attach. Don't grab them too much. And we look at the cups, which is emotions. It's feminine energy. And this dark cloaked individual is looking down.
Yeah.
And there's three spilled cups. There's spilled cups on one side, and there's two full cups behind him. So he's focused on what he doesn't have. He's focused on the lack. And when we're in eclipse energy, which is can be karmic, it can be transformative, it can bring clarity. If this is what we'll focus on, it will feel like depression. People will feel more depressed. So this is kind of like a caution. These are caution to be kind to yourself. And what does Terrell say? The blindfold.
Yeah.
This particular individual is crossing off her heart. She's not listening to her heart. The swords are pointed up. She's trying to get the wisdom from the mind, but she's blindfolded so she can't see. This is the time to go inside. So if you have any blocks of the heart, which means if you have not forgiven yourself for something, if you have not forgiven someone else, there is a block. And when we have this full moon energy and we can unwind and release, then we can receive. This is about being stuck. This is about not moving forward. This is about what is in my heart. And if there is anything left that you have not forgiven, for me, I don't use the word forgiveness in my practice. I use the word acceptance, because if I accept you as you are, I don't need to forgive you. You don't need to forgive me. I accept you and I accept myself as I am. We want to open those arms that are like this, our heart. And this tells me that there is a lot of this constrictive energy in the human race right now, or this wouldn't be coming through. And I love everything Amanda said about harvesting what's of value to us. So, what is of value to us? I didn't get any earth cards, but the earth cards are the restriction. You know, what I have to do, they're the tasks, check off, check off, check off. This is not about what I do on earth. This is about being on earth and being in nature. So with those three, I thought challenging cards. I said, well, what is the outcome? We go inside. We don't have fantasy ideas, but we allow the universe to move through us. We turn around and we look at the cups that are full and we open our hearts to receive. The outcome is this is the card of success. This is a six of wands. Six is when we make it through trials and tribulations. And he's got all of these people behind him that is supporting him. He's riding on a horse. We know horses have four hoofs that connect to the earth, so they're very strong. They're very much connected to earth. And the fire, wands are also fire, and this is energy and passion. So we all want to do, we want to achieve, we want a meaningful life, we want to be loved, we want to be recognized, and we will, but we have to go through a bit of darkness to get there. We have to go inside. We have to forgive. We have to let go. So that's what I invite you to do, to open your heart, to let the thoughts go and not attach to them, because there's a clearing out. The more thoughts we bring to the surface and let go, more come up from the depths. So we don't want to, perseverate on any current thought or idea. We want to just let them move through us. Piscean energy is flow, it's water, and it's moving through us. So it's almost like opening to be a vessel, allowing it all to move through us. And then when the eclipse comes, we'll be wide awake to receive the download that comes with that powerful energy. When we align with the energy, it amplifies the transformation within us. So I invite you, let those thoughts go, appreciate your gifts, and open your heart. And that's the message from Tarot this week.
Yeah, quiet mind. And I also, the thing that I love about that, because I don't feel like eclipse energies are meant to be active times. I think they're actually meant to be kind of quiet and internal times. And I know that different native cultures, you don't even go outside. You stay inside, you actually clean your house, and you stay kind of very insulated for the eclipse time. And I think that's really reflected in the cards right now about this being an internal cleaning out, an internal time. And I just want to say that I really love what you just said about acceptance and forgiveness, because I think that's absolutely true. And I get really frustrated with the concepts we have about forgiveness and the way we use it, because acceptance is really true. And if you accept, I also like to say sometimes like, oh, just let them off the hook. Because if you accept what happened, or you accept that somebody was wounded and hurt and painful, and you kind of just like, okay, I accept that you really messed up and you were in a place where you were unconscious when that happened, and you accept it and you let them off the hook, you let yourself off the hook and you unwind your own energy from the past. And that's really, selfishly, or just really like not even just like, that's the true energy. When you're bound with somebody in your past, you're bound with somebody in your past. And if you're just like, all right, I get it. I accept that it happened. I accept that you were in your own wound, in your own consciousness, and I let you off the hook. It's kind of like saying, I let you out of the energetic tie. And then the unwinding can happen between two people, or yourself and some story of the past. So I think that's reflected in the cards too, and what you said. So I just really appreciate that a lot.
Amanda told me that 2:07 Eastern
209.
time.
209.
Oh,
Yep.
2:09 on the 7th.
Yep.
So Pacific, be 11:09. And although that's when the nanosecond that all of this is occurring, it is building before and it's building after. So if sometime a day or two before or a day or two after, you sit with what we've said and just sit with it and
Yep.
see what comes. I wanted to tell everybody about a couple of classes coming up. The
Yes.
Mystic Medium,
Mhm.
and one of the things that Amanda wrote was, we'll go deep beyond the timelines of disruption and enter into streams of ancient song, beauty, and love. So the mystic medium will be communicating with souls, departed souls, and animals, and learning about the other realms. And do you want to say something about the psychic development we're also doing in the fall?
Yeah, we really, Kathi and I sat down and we really thought, okay, what was the most influential training ground in our lives? And we're like, practice, practice, practice. And we both, at different times of our life, were in groups that just met regularly. And we just practiced. We practiced connecting to spirits beyond the veil. We practiced connecting to energy fields. We practiced just connecting to photos. We just practiced. So we're creating, it's every 2 weeks. So it's just twice a month commitment, but it's a commitment for for 3 months, every 2 weeks. And we're just going to create a world or a group where we're just going to practice, practice, practice. So if you've taken a class with us, or you've taken a class somewhere where you've been developing your intuitive skills, and then the class is over, and then there's nowhere to really work through um, gaining better skill and validation, this is an opportunity to do that. We're just creating a world where we can gain skill, work through validation, and practice, practice, practice.
Yep. So subscribe below, right? And you'll be on our newsletter, and you'll find out more about all of these classes.
Awesome. All right.
Thank
Thank
you,
you,
everyone.
everyone. Enjoy. Happy September.